Sorry about that. Thank you. We are missing board member Saren Betts tonight. She is traveling for work, but we will be here to take care of business. We will start with the good news report.
Good evening. Tonight's good news report starts with a recognition for you, our school board. The Associated School Boards of South Dakota annually recognizes boards for their dedication and service to public school students across South Dakota. ASBSD is awarding you the Bronze Level All Award. All stands for Act, Learn, Lead. It's given in recognition of time, effort, commitment, and leadership that you've demonstrated in the past year with your participation in ASBSD activities, board development, and various other trainings that you've attended. This award gives us another chance to say a very sincere thank you to each of you for the many hours that you put in reading over board notes and minutes, staying on top of educational trends and strategies to keep up with everything that's happening in our classrooms. We know that there's so much more to being an active board member than just showing up for this meeting here, and you all do that so very well, representing the Sioux Falls School District at committee meetings, other various community meetings, and just fostering the partnerships that we benefit from as staff, students, and families in the Sioux Falls School District. So congratulations to each of you for earning the All Award, and collectively also for the board for your commitment to working on our mission and carrying that through to educate and prepare each student to succeed in a changing world. So we will honor you for that.
Thank you.
On to our second bit of good news this evening. It's a school spotlight featuring Hawthorne Elementary, home of the Huskies. Principal Steph Jones is here along with Sarah Easter, the assistant over there, and they're going to share a little bit about what's great about Hawthorne. So welcome.
You have a cheering section.
Yes,
with signs
nothing like
even.
the excitement of a crowd, yes. Okay, so I'm here to share about Hawthorne Elementary. I'm Stephanie Jones. I'm the principal and have been at Hawthorne for 10 years. I also started my career at Hawthorne. I was a student taught 4th grade at Hawthorne Elementary, and then I also taught in the early childhood toddler program. Was my very first job at Hawthorne Elementary between Hawthorne and Emerson. So on with the show, here we go. Hawthorne Elementary, the original Hawthorne Elementary was built in 1882 in the southeast corner of 3rd Street and Duluth Avenue. Its design was identical to the original Whittier. Hawthorne served the north end of Sioux Falls and had tripled in size by the early 1920s. The new school was constructed on the hillside and was home to an underground spring, once sacred to the indigenous people. This spring was tapped into by the Henson brothers for their 1800 spa and bottling works just down the hill. The spring was corked up and redirected after the 1800s, and in the mid-1970s, a prolonged drought caused the underground spring to dry and the ground around it to settle and shift. This was a cause for concern, as the shifting of the ground was on the ground which the school stood. There was fear in the area that the school would break loose and tumble down the hill, though that was never a danger. In 1984, Hawthorne was closed and its teachers were reassigned. The old building was razed and the Henry Carlson Company constructed a new building. The destruction of the old school was challenging due to its solid foundation. The new building was designed by Architecture Incorporated, which had the good sense to incorporate the old Minnehaha Springs building down the hill in the design. And this innovative terrace design incorporated rooftop playgrounds, earned the firm accolades and the appreciation of the architecture professionals in the National Design Award. At Hawthorne, our mission statement is, as a collective community, we will nurture relationships, celebrate diversity, and provide a safe, healthy environment to ensure the social and academic growth for all. Currently at Hawthorne, we have 329 kindergarten through 5th grade students and 123 early childhood students, including specialized classroom, a multi-STEM, and an all-day Head Start classroom. Hawthorne has 79 full-time and part-time staff. We serve the north central area along with the northeastern Sioux Falls, which was previously Renberg area. We are considered a CEP school so that all Hawthorne elementary students receive free breakfast and lunch. Hawthorne has a very diverse population of students who come from a variety of backgrounds and experiences. Belonging is a core part of our circle of courage. When we celebrate our diversity through the lens of belonging, students feel safe and cared for. As a result, they are able to engage in learning and self-expression. Students use their strengths to contribute to our mission of a social and academic growth. At Hawthorne, we also focus on living in the circle. This is based on the Native American philosophy. Each quarter, we focus on one quadrant through literature and social skills. Using the approach of one book, one school, we help students learn about the quadrants and demonstrate how to live within the quadrant. Hawthorne is in its second year of implementation of PBIS. We continue to work on our planned teaching along with our positive reinforcement for students, creating an environment where students can feel valued, connected to the school and community, and supported by caring adults. For the past 5 years, we have worked hard to develop clarity with learning intentions and success criteria for all students in all subject areas. This creates that clarity for students in knowing what they are learning and how they can also demonstrate what they have learned. This is shown through our student and parent surveys from 2023 in the areas of helping students to grow as a learner, which our students rated at 93%, and also identifying that students are setting goals to help them improve, which was identified at 67%. In the classroom, at the beginning of each lesson, teachers share with students the learning intentions and success criteria to help with the clarity of learning. Students also track their growth throughout the year in their goal binders in kindergartens through 5th grade using these learning intentions. These learning intentions and success criteria also help teachers by identifying interventions and extensions for each learning goal during our PLC work together as teachers. We have several great partnerships within our Hawthorne community. We have Promising Futures, who's been an awesome partner, Ransom Church, who's provided meals and other things. We are starting our Sioux Falls Neighborhood Soccer this year, which we're excited to do this fall. We have Falls Community Health, that we have an in-school clinic that has done amazing things for our students. Terry Schulte Subaru has also partnered and provided our staff picnic and money for other venues for us. Great Life has come in and also provided after-school activities for our students. We also have a huge mentor population of LSS mentors at Hawthorne. We start the year at Hawthorne with a picnic on our roof. Not very many schools can say they get to have a picnic on their roof. This year we had over 500 people who attended and we served over 700 hot dogs. At the end of the year, we end our year with our annual art show and our success night. Our success night is a night where students get to create their displays of work that they felt successful through this year. A lot of their goal binders and things are presented to their parents, and it's everything that they've done and felt proud about this year. We also have an amazing science room with 3D robots with robotics and 3D printers. Our fall festival is a carnival that we have each year with our buddy rooms. So the kindergartners are paired with the 5th graders and they take them around to the different carnival games. International Festival is our end of the year where we look at all the continents and countries of the world, and we spend a day traveling throughout the building, learning about each continent that they have studied and also about their culture. We begin our year also, as you can see on the photo, welcoming our kindergartners with our 5th grade tunnel. So our 5th graders all make a tunnel, and the kindergartners come through the tunnel showing that belonging at the beginning of the year. And then at the end of the year, we reverse that tunnel and we say goodbye to our 5th graders by having our kindergarten students build that tunnel. And then the whole school is outside cheering for them on the terraces as our 5th graders leave and say goodbye. Hawthorne is an amazing place to be. Is there any questions?
Anybody have any questions or comments? Okay.
I just want to thank you for sharing all of this as an Indigenous woman, to see all the students that are directly shown love, caring, compassion, belongingness. I can only imagine what that's doing for their self-esteem as a little person. I can speak firsthand that I never got to see that as a kid, and I love hearing about Hawthorne, and I've been fortunate to attend several community events and run into your staff and the pride that they have being there and just being excited for what they do. I've met Lizzie at a trauma-informed practice, and her excitement got me pumped for the school year. So thank you for inspiring not just the students, but your staff to just love what they do and practice belongingness, and all the models that you shared today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I would just add that I love the part where you were talking about goal setting. And I think it's so important when we tell kids, we just want you to learn this. Well, what does that mean? And that's such an abstract thought to them. And so actually breaking down to say, what does that look like? And as adults and parents, I think sometimes that's not what we're good at. We want our kids to do something and we tell them to do that thing. But what are the steps that go into that? And so I think building those skills early on is so important for those kids. And I also love schools that have such rich traditions. And the example of the tunnel that you just shared is just an awesome thing that's, I imagine, very unique to Hawthorne. And so that's something that kids will remember forever. And that's a tradition that has been built, just one of the many, I'm sure. But it's just another connecting point for families and students. And that's, to your point, just that belonging and feeling like when you're a kindergartner coming in, you see these big kids, you know, but they all welcomed you. And so now they're not as scary outside or they're not as scary in the hallway. So yeah, I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and for your staff for their support as well.
They're
Did you introduce your staff?
Yes, I
Did
will.
you? Okay.
So I have Sarah,
I didn't think you did, but I wanted to
I
make sure
did.
you do.
I have Sarah Becker, who's my librarian, Lizzie Hansen, who is my 3rd grade teacher, and Ryan Swanson, who's my reading interventionist. So
Awesome. Well, thank you to all of you guys as well for all of the things you're doing for your students and your school and their families. So appreciate your time tonight.
thank you.
All right. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the meetings held on August 28th, 2023, please? Okay, I have a first and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you. We do not have anybody signed up to address us tonight. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the agenda tonight?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for approval of the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The agenda is approved. We have no conflicts of interest this evening. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda 9A through D?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you. And the supplemental consent agenda claims to Sanford Health 10A. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That passes with one abstention from myself. And then we have 2 reports of the superintendent tonight.
Yep, there's a report tonight that we always look forward to. This is just the preliminary version of our full enrollment. And Doug Morrison is here to share that with us. I will say, in talking with many of my colleagues, we are all still seeing a lot of growth in the city, but our district growth is trending upward, but slower than anticipated in some areas. So it will be interesting to kind of see the whole metro area where everybody's enrollment comes in, given the construction that we're seeing. We're also looking at birth rates and things like that to look at what that might mean long-term. But I will turn it over to Doug for what we can see at this point in time.
All right, thank you. So just to kind of level set you on enrollment, so official enrollment will be the last Friday in September. So we know that's a long time to wait to try to figure out where we're at from an enrollment perspective. And actually, we've been tracking it for some time, even before school starts, because we've got to figure out how many teachers are needed at each school and each grade. And so, but traditionally, we've looked at it on day 4. And so this is what I'm presenting tonight. So think of it as a preliminary report, and hopefully directionally it's correct. So if we look at where we were at on day 4, which was August 29th of this year compared to August 30th of last year, we're up about 90 students, K through 12. You can see K through 5, we're down a little bit, and in middle school, but in high school, the high school cohort, we're way up. Pre-K, just shy of 1,000, that bounced back up. I think if you recall last year, we were some teachers short and we weren't able to fill all those classes. So that bounced back this year. And junior kindergarten, I'm not sure, that tends to bounce around a little bit too. But all in all, up about 129 students if I compare same period this year versus same period last year. Now, when I come back in October and present the final numbers, historically what happens is that the final numbers will be a little bit less than what the preliminary numbers are. And you can see the left-hand side of the chart is what the preliminary numbers have come in all the way back to, back 7-8 years. And then the right-hand side is where we actually came in. So you can see the actuals tend to come in, as I said, a little bit lower. The COVID year 2021, or the year after COVID, we saw a lot of change, but we've kind of settled back into. And the reason that it does come in lower is because we roll over the year with the students that were here with us last year, and we assume they're going to be coming back to us unless, of course, we get a transfer record from another district, which happens. And so as we fulfill those, that enrollment will come down. And then we simply have students that don't show up. We don't get a transfer enrollment, but we can't drop them for 15 days. So, but we track that. We kind of know what that number is. When I looked at it this morning, there was about 50 kids, I think, that have 10 consecutive days of absence or haven't been at school. So we know we'll drop some of those. And so right now we're sitting about 175 kids over where we actually ended up, or we're actually at last year. So, still fairly confident we won't see that much of a deterioration, and we'll still end up year over year with an increase of enrollment. And like Dr. Steven, some districts aren't seeing that. So, when we look at it by grade, probably the first thing that we usually look at is where's our kindergarten class coming in. And so this year we came in and we're at about 1,900 right now, 1,905. And you can see last year we were at 1,971, and the year before that we were about at 2,000. So we kind of hope we would keep that trend of seeing, being in the 2,000 range, but it's kind of bounced back down to 1,900. And then the cohorts, of course, move across. And so again, elementary down about 43. You can see that that COVID year, which would be the second graders, that's a very low cohort, that 1822. Middle school, pretty stable, 10 less overall. And then, like I said, high school is about 143 more. In the next report, I'll give you a little deeper dive into high school, because you're dealing with where they are from a credit perspective versus where they are from a graduation cohort perspective. This is where they're at from a credit perspective. So I'll give you a little different view at the next board meeting once the numbers are more stable. And then looking at it by school kind of gives you an initial indication, and I did kind of highlight out there the 4 schools where we made boundary changes just to make sure that we were seeing what we expected to. So you can see Harvey, Dunn, and Hawthorne, we saw increases, and we were expecting that because they were involved in the whole Rosa Parks, the east side rebounding at the elementary school. So we accomplished what we wanted to there. And then Renberg and Rosa Parks, we saw decreases, which is what we were hoping for, so that we can allow for future growth there. So all in all, you know, nothing else that I would really call out that's too unusual. We just, you know, kind of can see some of the core schools continue to decrease enrollment. And so we, you know, we kind of watch that, as I think I alluded to at the board meeting, right, or the last work session, where we look at the capacities of elementaries and you know, try to understand where to build our next elementary school. So that comes into play. Middle schools, again, very stable, and not much change there. And even at a high school, you don't see any one school that really sticks out. You know, Jefferson, Lincoln, and Roosevelt up a little, Washington down a little, and then Joe Foss will change as students kind of get that enrollment, and those schools will change a little bit in the first month. And so seeing good growth in the high school numbers. So I would say, I don't have a slide on it, but anecdotally, open enrollment is up this year. So we're up over 1,000 kids, and I think it's up in the 50-ish range more than we had last year. So seeing some growth up in the northwest side, especially coming into Jefferson, but I'll give you a little more of a deeper dive into that at the next meeting. So that's some of the general trends. You know, at this point, good news, we're up over last year, and that will also translate into the last Friday in September will translate into our funding number as well that we'll get from the state. So with that, I would ask you to acknowledge the fall 2023 initial enrollment report, and then I'll be back to you in early October with the final numbers. Any questions? I'll stand by for questions.
Questions or comments from anybody? No? All right, thanks for the sneak peek,
Right.
appreciate it. All right, can I get a motion and a second to acknowledge the early enrollment report, please?
So moved.
Okay, a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. That is acknowledged.
Okay, our second report tonight is from our Sioux Falls Education Foundation. And I think Allison has even a few board members here tonight, so I'm sure you'll introduce them, but we want to just start by acknowledging all of the ways that the foundation supports our district. And we wanted to do a full report again this year because it's more than just good news. It's a partnership, and so this gives us a chance to hear a little bit more in depth about your work. So I will turn it over to you, Allison.
Well, good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share information tonight about the Sioux Falls Public Schools Education Foundation. We at the Education Foundation, our goal is to create innovative educational opportunities that impact students and staff across the district at all 37 sites. And we do that through our 4 main focus areas: Public School Proud Grants, Talent and Recognition, the Student Success Fund, and our endowment. And one of the reasons that I'm presenting tonight is because we are celebrating our 15th anniversary. Our organization was chartered in 2008, and so we are planning some fun activities throughout the 2023-2024 school year to help us celebrate this milestone. Our first focus area is our Public School Proud Grant Program. Any educator in the district is able to apply for up to $10,000 in funding to purchase materials that will give students hands-on immersive opportunities. When we started this program in the spring of 2009, we awarded 14 grants, and this past spring we just awarded 59 grants to 91 educators for a total of $124,000. So we've seen significant growth in that program. It's really for those teachers who have big ideas, who want to be implementing creative and innovative activities in the classroom. And we're super excited about the spring of 2024 because we will surpass the $1 million mark in overall funding for this grant program. So we will definitely do something fun for the teacher or the group of teachers who help us reach that milestone. Here are some photos of our grants in action. On the left, we have a couple of students working with the Osmo coding kits. They are very popular at the elementary level. I don't even know how many grants we've awarded to purchase those, but teachers definitely love using those, and our students are so engaged when we're in the classroom. In the middle photo, we have students from Whittier Middle School who are using new art supplies. And then on the right, we have 2 students from Jane Addams who are using cardio drumming equipment. And that grant was special because the community ed department actually offered that as a class where the public could come in. But it helps our students, gives them some brain breaks, gives them some movement. And you can see our average grant award last year was $2,100. We did award 2 grants at that $10,000 level, but our smallest grant was $149. So we really run the spectrum on that. Our second focus area is talent and recognition, and we're probably most well known for our first-time teacher grants. These are $200 awards that are given to all first-time, first-year teachers. If they're hired by the district and they have no prior teaching experience, they get $200 to buy materials for their first classroom. So whether that's bulletin boards, classroom sets of books, organization kits, expo markers, you name it, they are able to purchase the supplies that they need. About a month ago, we awarded 80 of these grants at Jefferson, but our record was last year when we awarded 124 of these grants. So since we started the program, we've awarded more than 900 of these grants, and we'll pass the 1,000 mark next year. Another thing that we've been doing is expanding our teacher appreciation efforts. We feel at the foundation that we have an opportunity to really celebrate and champion and cheerlead for all of those individuals who are working in our buildings. And what we started doing is providing catered meals at our schools that do not have PTOs or they'd be considered low-income schools. We have done breakfast at Whittier and Laura B. Anderson already this school year, and we did lunch at Horace Mann last week. We'll continue to do those meals around the holidays and then into the spring semester. Every fall, we get into all of our buildings to deliver donuts. We share at a staff meeting information about our public school proud grants, and then we just thank staff. Last year, we introduced Scooter's coffee bars in our buildings, and they have been extremely popular. We know that educators enjoy caffeine for the most part. And so instead of giving them a voucher or a coupon where they have to go somewhere to utilize that, we just brought the coffee bar to the buildings. We also partnered with Oh My Cupcakes during Teacher Appreciation Week. They created a special cupcake for us, Apple of My Eye. It's an apple cheesecake cupcake. And individuals could nominate teachers on social media who deserved cupcakes during Teacher Appreciation Week, and we did surprise deliveries. So I just have one cute story. There was a kindergarten teacher who did not get her cupcakes, and so she had emailed me, and we were troubleshooting, and the cupcakes were delivered to the front office, and they enjoyed them. And so we got another round of cupcakes delivered, and she sent me an email and said, "Thank you for using your problem-solving skills." So when you're in that teacher mode, especially with kindergartners, I think it's hard to sometimes take that hat off, but that was just a fun email that I got. So we also work with partners to do gift card giveaways, and those are always popular with staff too. When we were talking about our 15th anniversary, our board and our committees have been meeting, and one of the ideas we had was to recognize the longest tenured teacher in the Sioux Falls School District. Like, we're celebrating a milestone anniversary, let's celebrate staff. And so on August 23rd, Carrie Aaron, she's one of our board members, she and I went out to Whittier, and we had a breakfast buffet for staff, and then we also surprised Sue Bills. She is in her 44th year teaching reading at Whittier Middle School, and all of those years she has been at Whittier. So spending 4 decades in any career is amazing, but then to do it in the same building in the same subject area is fairly unheard of. And so I don't want to be dramatic about it, but I just think, you know, that what an opportunity, like, we got to go and celebrate her. Everyone at Whittier knew that she was going to be honored except for her. So there was a lot of applause and cheers when we walked in and surprised her. Our third focus area is our Student Success Fund. We started this in 2018, and it has always been a collaboration with our social workers. When we started this fund, there were 9 school social workers, and they shared $500 amongst themselves. We now allocate $1,000 per social worker, and that's how it's been from the beginning. We give every social worker $1,000 at the start of the school year, and then they are able to purchase basic needs for students and families in crisis. Some of the things they buy would be bed bug cream, lice shampoo, feminine hygiene products, clothing for families fleeing domestic violence, emergency food assistance, but it's truly a stopgap measure. It's for families who have an immediate need now, and for whatever reason, they can't access other community resources. So our social workers are the boots on the ground staff. They know who truly needs it. And this fund is used by almost every school every year. So we track all of our expenses on a monthly basis. This is also the fund, it's kind of the vehicle we use when there are community partners who want to do a supply drive. They want to do school supplies or laundry detergent or toothpaste. We can collect those items, and then we work closely with Patty Lake Torbert and her team at the Community Engagement Center to get those items in and then make sure they're going right out. Through this fund, we have also worked with the Office of Indian Education to sponsor their 3 main events every year. We provide funding for the Native American Honoring Ceremony in May, the Open House event in August, and the holiday meal in December. We've used this fund to install washer and dryer sets at 3 elementary schools. Last year, we donated $10,000 to cover unpaid student lunch debt. And when the Community Engagement Center opened at Axtell, we purchased all of the new furniture for that space. Our last focus area is our endowment. We have 2 endowments, and they're managed by the Sioux Falls Area Community Foundation. Our main endowment has a balance of about $650,000. We've had pretty significant growth in that the last 5 years. And then we also have the Sue Scribner Reading Endowment, and the balance is just over $200,000. We have a few other ways that we have provided support to the district or partnered. In March, we were the exclusive sponsor of the TEDx Youth event. We worked with One American Bank to award in honor to the distinguished educator every year. We are kind of the funding clearinghouse for Pepper Entertainment. They have partnered with the district to introduce guitar classes at all 4 of our high schools. We worked with Deanne and her team to find sponsors for the trees. When it was the district's 150th anniversary, we planted a tree at each site. And then for 3 years, we worked with Stride Right to provide vouchers so that students could get a new pair of snow boots or tennis shoes. Like I said, we're celebrating our 15th anniversary. So we are doing a day of giving this Friday, September 15th, and we're asking our supporters to give $15. It's a social media campaign, so everything will be done online. For the last couple of weeks, we've been sharing photos and videos and milestone graphics, just helping us tell our story. And again, we have monthly activities planned throughout the school year. But I know that many of you in this room have donated to support the Education Foundation. Thank you for that. If you have not, you can donate on Friday. And we would love to have you follow on social media. In addition to our grant programs and the teacher appreciation events that we do, we really think that, one of the ways that we add value to the district is just getting in and highlighting all of the good things that happen in the district. We get to go into classrooms and see students who are programming robots to navigate obstacle courses, and they're playing instruments from around the world. They're using jelly plates in art. They're flying drones, and we get to tell that story. And we also get to help our donors connect to the mission. When they make a gift to the foundation, we're able to bring them back to a staff meeting or to the classroom, and it comes full circle when they get to see how their gift is making an impact. Our goal is really to elevate and celebrate all of these teachers who have these great ideas and just need some help funding to make these projects a reality. I know that social media is often used for it gets a bad rap. There's not a lot of positive things that happen there, but everything that we do is lifting up our staff and our students. And if you need a feel-good story, please look at our pages, because we are celebrating staff. And I think, we get to go in and give the big checks and the balloon bouquets and the big signs, but when they get that recognition online and it's their own kids or their former students or their colleagues who see that they've won this award, that's priceless. Like it's hard to put that into words, the admiration that they feel because they've been lifted up. Mickey Lundeen is the Director of Community Partnerships at Avera. This is a video. I don't think it's probably going to work. I can send the link home. But she talks about, Avera has partnered with us for at least the last 15 years, but she talks about what it's like to go into a building and award a grant. And it's like watching your child open a Christmas present, you know, and just to have someone believe in you and your idea really brings it home for our donors. So like Dr. Savum said, I do have board members with me. Here's a list of everyone on our board. But tonight I have Deb Kosky, she's chair of the board. Reese Allman is here, he's vice chair. Dean Hanneman is here, recently retired school district administrator. Dr. Zeke and Nan, they all serve on our board, and it's truly just an amazing group of engaged individuals who volunteer their time. So committed to the mission. They're out telling amazing stories about what their students are doing in school, what they've seen teachers doing. You just could not have a better group of ambassadors celebrating all of the successes of the Sioux Falls School District. So to my board, thank you so much. To the school board, thank you for supporting the Education Foundation. And I would just, but the recommendation is that you would acknowledge this report. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments?
It's a great deal. It's a great deal. I think it's nice, whatever you give teachers, especially the new ones, when they come in, and I think it helps them feel a little more at home. And I know some people that have received some of these funds when I was at Washington High, and they have somebody at Ben Rifle that I'm associated with, and they got a nice one. It's great stuff. It really is.
I was a former Indian education board member, and so I've seen the direct impact the holiday meal support has done. I think we saw close to 500 people last year, even in a blizzard. So that went a long ways, and know that it's so appreciated for many people.
Well, and I don't think we've met personally yet, but you received a public school proud grant when you were at Axtell to start the podcasting, and then you left, but I mean, the program continued. So that's why group grants are important.
Yes.
So I know that you're familiar with the program.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I think about 15 years ago when I think Deb was part of the original group of people that came together, and maybe even Deanne. But they both saw, and several other people, a real need to build relationships that have philanthropic intent. Takes sometimes many years. And as volunteers, the consistency, it was just really hard to come by, and knowing the importance of that and sticking with it and having the tenacity to see it through, to have a full-time executive director is just a huge leap. And Allison, you've done a great job in seeing those goals that we set many years ago, and Deb using her expertise as both a United Way executive and then as the Sanford Foundation really elevated what we did and what we talked about, and getting a full-time, an endowment, and looking at return on investment, and a lot that really was needed, and then you carrying out and operationalizing what we had set for strategic vision. And I would imagine those people that had set those goals years ago now seeing it come into fruition, and you continuing to build those relationships in the community has such a significant impact from the individual teacher, then knowing we impact them and that they impact directly our students is where that heart of that mission is at. And you're doing great things.
Awesome, thank you. Can I get a motion and a second to acknowledge the Sioux Falls Education Foundation report? Motion.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That is acknowledged. Thank you so much for your time. Can I get a motion and a second to move into executive session, South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-23?
So moved. Second.
Okay. We will move into executive session.
Yeah, it's been a huge endeavor.